Welcome everyone to week 3. In week 3, I want to go over the module and what you could expect for this week. Here's the overview for this week. For this week, you're going to be reading chapter 5 and 6, and you have quiz number 1. You have the instructor guidance video that you're reviewing right now. You have a lot of interesting videos right here for you to review. I got a PDF on the HO model. I have your PowerPoint slides here, and I have 2 different articles that you can review as well. I think you'll find this very helpful. Let's go over some of the concepts, and then we'll go over quiz number 1. Now, for the quiz, you have 1 attempt on the quiz, and you have 60 minutes. So make sure when you start the quiz that you complete it at that point, as you only have 1 attempt. When we look at this week, we're going to be looking at different models, and these different models are going to be focused on the role of assumptions, and the assumptions are very important. So when you look at labor productivity, you'll notice that this is one of the reasons why trade occurs. And with the HO model, you'll notice that differences in labor, the skills, physical capital, and human capital are reasons why differences will exist, and that's very challenging to evaluate. When we look at this model, we're looking at 2 goods in 2 countries with a mix of labor and capital, and how the differences in labor and capital vary among these different resources. When we look at the production possibility frontier, it's going to look at how our resources are being developed and the connection of these resources as well. Let's see if I can get to where. So if you look right here at this production possibility frontier, you're going to be looking at different slopes, and the different slopes will exist because of the marginal rate of substitution. And we're looking at 2 goods, and between these 2 goods, we have to make a decision on where the best place is to evaluate or to produce at. When you look at an economy, it devotes resources towards the production of one good or another. And the key is when they devote a lot of resources, that'll tend to affect the productivity levels. So those are just some of the concepts we're going to be looking at in week 3. And let me go through some other different concepts as well on the quiz. So we click here on quiz number 1. You can read the directions, take the quiz right there. That's what you want to click on. So let's go over some of the questions. We're going to look at this figure right here, and you want to find which shows a country's PPF and indifference curves. Question 2 is going to look at immigration and what has happened with regard to immigration as percentage of the U.S. population. Question 3 is looking at the 2-2, which we just described in the HO model, and why do the countries differ? What is the main reason why they differ? Question 4 is looking at if a country produces good Y, then the absolute value of the slope is equal to what? What is it going to look at? Question 5 looks at the HO model, and we want to look at differences with the Ricardian model in terms of comparative advantage. What are the main differences? Question 6, in the HO model, it predicts all of the following except. So one of them it does not predict. Question 7 is looking at trade benefits of a country and why trade benefits are beneficial for a particular country. Question 8 is looking at a country's net commodity terms of trade and why will that exist. Question 9 is looking at Slovenia, and it's a large country in world trade, and then it imposes a large set of tariffs on many of its imports. What will happen to its role of trade? You notice when there's a large set of tariffs, you notice that imports will slow down a little bit. Question 10 is going to deal with an export subsidy. Question 11 is going to be looking at the differences in the HO and Ricardian model, and what does it assume in these 2 models. Question 12 is looking at the production possibility frontier. Question 13 is looking at the HO model as well. Question 18, I'm going to have to look at some of the other questions just to review, is looking at terms of trade. Question 19 is looking at tastes of individuals, how it's represented. Question 20 is looking at the ratio of price and cloth and how this increases in the marketplace. So those are just some of the questions that you might see in our analysis. But please note that you have 60 minutes and 25 questions. Or 20 questions. I might have it varied as some of the weeks, but I look forward to your effort.